participants.
No, I know. You got to use the mouse.
Oh.
I'm just showing you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, nope. Just leave that open in case somebody joins.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, it's 6 p.m. and we are going to officially start the Lower Makefield Township Environmental Council meeting of January 15th, 2026. The first item on the agenda is the review approval of the December 11th, 2025 meeting minutes. They were sent out to everybody. I'm sure everybody's had a chance to look at them. Do we have any comments, or can we just approve them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
All right, do we have a second? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. All right, thank you. Excuse me. The next item on the agenda is election of EAC officials for 2026. Do we have any nominations?
And there's two positions, right?
Yeah, it's the chair of the commission and the vice chair as well.
Well, I nominate Jim Bray for one more year.
Okay.
Chair, he's got one more year left.
Yeah, Alan and I actually discussed this, and I will be on the commission after this year. But basically, my administrative role, I would love to pass on to somebody else at that time. So, all right. Do we have a second for the nomination?
A second.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations, Chair? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Now, the next position is vice chair, and I will nominate Alan Dresser to be vice chair for 2026.
Let me say, if anybody else is interested, they can have it. I will do it, no problem, but
So that's the nomination. Do we have a second for the nomination? Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, do we have any other nominations for vice chair? Oh, lucky you, Alan. Okay. So anyway, all in favor of Alan to be vice chair for 2026? Okay. All right. So that is completed. Basically, next year, I just want to get involved planting trees. I love this tree bank that we've been working on, and Alan and I have spent a lot of time on that, and that's really where I want to spend a lot of time next year. So, all right, maybe we ought to talk to the people in our audience first to see if they have any quick comments, so they don't have to stay the whole meeting. So, from left to right, Madam, would you tell us who you are? Would you actually come up and use the microphone there? Or is there a microphone there? Okay.
Five.
Well, I didn't do it, so.
All right. Would you please tell us your name and why are you here this evening?
Miss Nita Chakowski. I live in Yardley Corners. I just want to see what this is all about. I was scrolling through and I saw your minutes. The lecture series really caught my interest. And I just wanted to see what this was all about. I did come a couple years ago. I got involved. I was part of the Styrofoam recycling thing. I did that. And then, stuff happened and I'm back to see what this is all about and what you guys do. And
Well, thank you very much for coming. So hopefully our meeting lasts about an hour. Okay. Sometimes we go a little beyond that, but thank you for coming.
Sure.
Okay.
Anita Chakowski, Mouse.
Okay. All right. Anita, thank you very much. All right. The next person, Jim Driscoll, you want to speak into the microphone a second, Jim, and tell us why you're here?
Jim Driscoll, Chestnut Lane, in the township. I just met most of you during the recycling events, and I just thought I'd see what you're up to at these monthly meetings.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jim. And the Jasper?
Hi, how's it going? I'm Jasper Bly. I'm from Yardley, Pennsylvania. I'm an Eagle Scout, really into the outdoors, and I went to one of your guys' meetings before, and yeah, I'm just still interested in hearing what you guys are talking about and staying in the loop.
Okay. Well, Jasper, thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
All right. The next item on the agenda is DCNR open space grants. And Elizabeth and Alan are going to be discussing that. But before we get into that discussion, Elizabeth was the gadfly on this project, and she started looking up to find out, what was available. And she came up with a list, and we homed in on a couple that were of special interest to the township. In the meantime, Alan and I have had some discussion with these grants with the township manager, Dave Kratzer, and that's what Alan's going to talk about right now.
Yeah, the Pennsylvania Division of Conservation and Natural Resources gives out grants for various reasons, for activities, for acquisitions. And we've honed in on the grant for acquiring open space. And it's a grant that can be used. It offsets 50% of the cost of the purchase of open space. And you need to submit an application to the DNCR between, was it January 14th and April
30th.
April 30th. Yeah, get your application in. And we've been doing a lot of the background work for the township to kind of tee it up for them. So if they find a property that is worthy of these funds, because there's certain conditions that have to be met by the property, they'll be ready to submit the application and hopefully get the funds for the land. We've identified 3 different properties in the township that we think are ideal for this grant. So today I sent a summary of the grant process, a waiver letter, which allows a township to buy the property before it actually receives the grant. And if they get the grant, then they get the money. And then just a general description of the grant program. And we sent it to Dave Kratzer, and hopefully he'll take it and identify a property. You got to find a property where the owner is wanting to sell it and at a reasonable price, because it has to be sold at the appraised price. You can't give more than an appraised price. So that's where we're at right now, and we're hoping they do identify a property in the next few months. Do you have anything else, Elizabeth?
No, but if we end up not applying to that grant, there are other grants that we're interested in that have
Right.
different timelines and are for different subjects, such as electric vehicle charging stations and all manner of environmental
Yeah.
areas.
All right. Well, one of the interesting things about this grant, though, is they are specifically keying in properties that have environmental restrictions. And that's generally not the case with grants. And even if we don't get the grants, we hope that we procure these 3 properties Alan was talking about. There's actually one that's almost a done deal right now. And unfortunately, in a public session, we can't really identify these properties at this time. Okay. But anyway, Elizabeth and Alan, thanks for your work on this. The next item on the agenda is future EAC awards. So when you go back in time, the EAC, this present EAC, has won several awards for environmental excellence from the Pennsylvania Governor's Award. And then plus, I guess it was around 2010 or 11, the United States Environmental Protection Agency Award for Environmental Excellence. And that was the first time the US EPA actually gave out that award. And we were the only municipality in the Mid-Atlantic region to receive that award at that time. However, at that time, we had a woman on the EAC who knew a lot about grants and awards and things like that. And I remember her telling me, you know, Jim, we ought to submit something because of all the interesting and good work that's been done here. So that's what I think we want to start doing again. So, Elizabeth, maybe this is something you could look into. I know there's a US EPA award. I know there's a PA Governor's Environmental Excellence Award, and I'm sure there's other stuff out there too. So, and it's good when we receive these awards. It's not only a pat on the back of the EAC. It's much, much more than that. It's actually saying to the whole township that you people have really done a good job as far as being stewards of the environment. So let's see what we can do. Okay.
Sounds good.
Any other comments on that? Okay. Excuse me. Next item on the agenda is a tree tender discussion. Excuse me. I had a meeting with Carla Kimmel-Smith, and this was the woman who attended our last meeting and expressed a strong interest in starting up a tree tender group in Lower Makefield Township. So at that time, or actually after the meeting, I talked to Carla and asked her to look into this, okay, with the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society, the agency that runs that program. And Carla, myself, and my wife, Jeanne, we actually met about a week ago, and Carla gave us some up-to-date information on the tree tender program as it exists today. And it's quite different than the way it existed several years ago. There's a lot more stringent requirements now about membership and leadership, an advanced study. You basically need a couple of leaders before you can really start the program rolling. And these leaders have to take a set number of courses. So anyway, we're looking into that right now. Before, it was almost simplicity itself. You took a course, you became a tree tender, and then you had a bunch of people who were certified, and then you were the tree tenders. Well, that simplicity doesn't exist anymore. But I think a program like this is vitally important to Lower Makefield Township because of the number of trees we've been planting through our long-range tree plans. And the current maintenance group can not be increased because of the basic tax structure of Lower Makefield Township. And I know most of the people in the maintenance division, and they're really top rate. There's just not enough of them to go around, especially with the number of trees that we've been planting, which was 1,500 in our 2016 plan. And our 2024 plan actually called for over 1,500, and we've already planted 500 of those. So as you can see, I mean, this is a large maintenance requirement. And what we're thinking of, the tree tenders basically maintain, okay, prune, inventory, set up a schedule, you know, for inventorying and maintaining the trees, that sort of thing. So hopefully by next meeting, I'll have something a little more concrete to talk about as far as the tree tenders.
Was she interested in doing it with all these additional requirements?
Yes, Carla was actually very interested in doing that. And also, there was another woman, her name is Debbie Little, who was actually the wife of John Lloyd, who was the 5 Mile Woods, heads up the 5 Mile Woods. And she's also expressed a strong interest in becoming a leader. So we have two people who are very interested at this stage. And, after they talk, they're going to meet, discuss, and then get back to us with a more concrete plan.
All right, well, if they decide it's too much work to get the official tree tenders designation as a leader, we could always just make like a tree care committee, and they could be on that, and we could have no requirements other than take care of the trees. So that can be the backup plan.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that, but that might have a lot of merit, so it certainly eliminates a lot of bureaucracy, which I'm always in favor of. All right, well, let's see what they come up with first, and then maybe we can head in that other direction. And of course, we already have two prime candidates.
Right.
So, all right, any other discussion on that? All right. The next item on the agenda is a heritage tree ordinance. Cheryl, do you have a report for us?
I don't have much update. Unfortunately, with the holidays and some family obligations, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. I was gathering my inventory. I did send you all kind of next steps, which you saw. And unless anybody has any objections, which I don't think there were, I'm going to just keep going on that path.
All right. My initial suggestion is that to declare a tree a heritage tree on public property is relatively an easy process.
Yeah.
To declare it on private property is a much more convoluted process.
Right. I wasn't going to target the private first. I was going to target the public, but I need to get that letter. I told you I was going to email the various groups across the department. And in fact, Eleanor and I are trying to set up a meeting with Monica about some other things. I'm going to ask her about that, ask her if she had any groups of trees or significant trees that we should look at as well. So I just, unfortunately, with the holidays, I didn't make as much progress other than working on the updated inventory of the existing trees that we know about.
Yeah, the only requirement that I think we have is that the first tree has to be the Patterson magnolia. Okay? Because basically it has a plaque on it already saying that, but we never went through the official paperwork as far as the township was concerned.
Right. There's a couple of ones that I think are easy wins right out of the gate. I think 5 Mile Woods, we talked about that. I think Slate Hill Cemetery and
Yeah,
the Patterson
magnolia
ones.
tree.
Right.
Yeah, and that list, I know the list is aged.
Yes.
But that was the list that Ellen and I used to go through. And I think a lot of the, I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel a lot of the times because the trees on that are mostly all part of the Big Tree, Pennsylvania on that list. And they're actually sectioned off for just lower Makefield Township. It really, the whole list was for Bucks County.
Right.
But we, I think, went through and categorized the specific trees, these extraordinary trees that were in lower Makefield Township. So I think certainly that's one of the main places to start.
Yeah, no, and that was my target list. I had, the ones that were public and then hit the ones that were private, probably in the spring, just to make sure, send a letter to the homeowner, ask them if we could look at the tree, if it exists, and then if we could document it.
Right.
Yeah.
The I don't want to say onerous, but the more rigorous process for a homeowner is that they have to deed restrict the property. And not only do they have to deed restrict the property, that tree can't be removed, but it follows a sale of the property as well. So this can be a real plus. It can be a negative factor as well. Just depends on the specific homeowner.
What's the date of the list you have? It's like 2008 or something?
Yeah, it's a while back.
Yeah, yeah, and like I told you about that one tree, some of those trees are not around anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's,
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is find out
Yeah.
what's there
Yeah.
and would you be considerate in looking at this program?
Yeah, and maybe another suggestion is to look at a handful at a time. I don't think we're going to, at any one time, come to the point where we're stating to the township, we want to preserve 20 of these trees at this specific date. This is more of an individual type process, I think, as we move forward. Any other questions, comments? All right, this is nice work on that, Cheryl, and I think this is an important project because, these trees have withstood the test of time, and I think to preserve them is going to be a very important task for us.
Cheryl, you might want to do the Franklinia first because I'm not sure how long it's going to last.
Well, I think some of these trees, they're going to be around a lot longer than we are, let's face it. So
Maybe not this one.
Well, again, part of that regulation and ordinance allowed for a group of trees. So yes, the Franconia is an individual spectacular tree, but the whole Slate Hill Cemetery can be deemed an area.
yeah, and that's a very interesting concept because I was very involved with the writing of this ordinance, but I forgot about that provision. And that can have a great deal of merit, okay?
Right. Even some of the open spaces that you're looking at, if there's trees in those open spaces or wooded areas that you want to declare environmentally sensitive or valuable.
They're all environmentalists. Yeah.
Right.
So
So,
maybe we can do that, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. All right, well, again, thanks for your work on this, Cheryl. All right, the next item on the agenda is strategic planning 2026 and beyond. And that's a group discussion, and I believe Cheryl and Eleanor were doing some work on that, so. And I'm sorry, of course, yes, the three of you, so.
You
Uh,
can-
Go for it. I feel like you have better, or go for it, Samia.
Yeah. Well, we met and talked through some topics. We kind of divided some areas we want to do some further investigation in before we come back to the group. We want to reach out to Monica. We want to reach out to Jim. We just want to make a couple more connections, gather some more information before we come back to the group with some proposed focus areas. But we did a lot of strategic discussion around some areas that were important to people. And then Eleanor, you want to talk about the little informal poll?
Yeah. So I put out an informal poll on Nextdoor and a couple of Facebook channels just to see what people were interested in and what would be valuable for the community. And some of the top ones, you'll love this, Jim. Some of the top ones were free or low cost trees to the community. More native plants, meadows, no-mow areas. And then the runners up were better recycling solutions. So just coming off of the Styrofoam event, I think was very, very pertinent. Trails, walking connections, zero waste township events. And then there was also, let's see, I said that one. Oh, a community solar or renewable program, sort of cost sharing, which I thought was interesting. That got high marks. So very informal, but we were just really curious.
Yeah, could you send that list to Jeanne?
Sure.
We'll put it right in the minutes.
Sure.
But that's excellent.
Yeah.
And well, it kind of parrots what we're trying to do here,
Exactly. It's good to know we're aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah, waste was definitely a topic that we all discussed.
Yeah.
Opportunities to engage the community, look for different waste streams through alternative outlets like TerraCycle or you like the clothing swap. I think that's great.
Yeah.
There were some low cost sort of activities that we could do to get some more recycling out there and also engage maybe local businesses to support that.
Yep.
Sounds excellent.
We've also I've been trying to get Jim Majewski to add the new EAC members to the Google Drive. So I've sent him
To the what?
to the Google Drive that we have allocated for EAC.
Okay.
So because we wanted to share documents.
Sure.
So I've sent him an email, sent him a second email, met him last time when we were here. How do we expedite that?
Well, you expedited by you talk to him again. Yeah.
Is he normally at his desk? I can just drop in and ask him?
Yeah, a lot of times, sure. And it can be pretty informal.
Okay,
Alan does that, a lot if he has something to talk to Jim
okay,
about,
fine.
so,
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Or any other discussion on that?
Yeah, we did see some opportunities maybe for some grants that, later on we could kind of target. Once we hone down the topics we want to work on, we could refocus in. Like I saw some waste grants that you could get for recycling efforts. And I thought, the batteries are a challenge for us to get rid of. I thought, maybe we could get a grant for some e-recycling, and I know they do one event in the township. Maybe we could do more, and make that more available for people on a regular basis.
We did an e-recycling event once. It was way back when, like 28.
Yeah, but when we did that e-recycling, the world was a different place because then there were people who would receive these goods. And now a lot of them were sent to China. And now basically they're not being sent to China anymore. So there's a surfeit of these things that are kind of a challenge to get rid of.
Yeah, okay, I can tell you that the vendor that I would suggest using or make sure that we do use would not be sending it to China. That is not the protocol. If you're an ISO certified or R2, R3, you're definitely not sending out of the country. There's a very limited amount of waste that is allowed to leave under all those regulatory frameworks. So
Right, but that wasn't the case 8 to 10 years ago.
that's correct, but it
Totally different.
today is different. And the township did have one in November. I think it was November. They had a recycling event. I just think it's an opportunity the batteries seem to be a very popular item. Let's find a more sustainable, regular collection opportunity for that. There's really odd, fun waste streams that you could look at, like office supplies. Could we put something at the school or at the township office that people could drop off their pens or staplers or miscellaneous office supplies that normally would go into the trash? That I know that's a small volume, but it's again raising awareness that you could think about these opportunities.
I know shoes are very hard to recycle because they're all mixed materials and different designs and all that. So, that's something to throw that in the ring too.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds excellent to me, especially something like pens. To me, there's nothing too small, okay? Small in a lot of places ends up being big, okay? So, and you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. You also might want to check with Steve Sanacero. Steve's our state senator, and he has already come up with a couple of these e-wastes, projects already at various areas, like in Doylestown. I think they had one. They had one here at the pool.
Yeah.
So you might want to check with Steve to see if there's an upcoming schedule.
Yeah, they definitely have some more in the future schedule, but I'm saying that I saw a grant listed on PADEP, I think it was, for e-waste for eligible townships. So I figure, well, if that's something we want to look at down the line when we get our list together, we can look at that.
Sure, Elizabeth. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, excellent. Any other comments?
We also identified certain topics not yet finalized for the lecture series. But I think we wanted to get all our background information put down and then prioritize and then.
Yeah, actually, we're going to have that. That's on the agenda. The EAC lectures. Should be.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready to give the list yet, but we were brainstorming about different topics.
Right. Yeah. All right. Excuse me. All right. The next item is the 2024 Long-Range Master Tree Plan. So Alan and I have been working with the township on that project. And Alan, why don't you give us all a little synopsis of the 2025 plan and then what we're planning on 2026?
Oh, the 2025 plan. I didn't bring that one, so
Well, the 20, yeah, okay.
I can talk about 2026.
All right. Well, I actually,
What was that?
I don't have the 20,
150.
it was 100, yeah, and
100.
the
No.
full 2024 plan, we actually planted 157 trees in about, I think about 18 or 19 various places in the township.
In 2025 fall.
I say 2024. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm getting mixed up
Yeah.
because, you know, we got 2026 right
Yeah.
now. Yes, in the fall of 2025.
Yeah, there were maybe 10 different spots. There were various spots.
Yeah, I
the
think 10 or
country.
15. We
Yeah.
also ended up with about 25 different species of trees, I think. And
Yeah.
for the people attending today, uh, these are not small trees. These are 2.5 to 3 inch caliper trees uh, that cost roughly about $450 each to plant. And our innovative tree bank actually pays for these. And the tree bank is funded by developers. So not a single cent is spent by taxpayers to do these plantings.
Right. And so we came up with a plan for the spring of 2026. And there are 8 different locations through the township, Memorial Park, Macclesfield, and the golf course, get a lot of them. And then 3 different detention basins, and then Patterson Farm, and the LMT Administration Building right here. And the total number of trees we are recommending is 172, and then also 32 shrubs, which would be planted at the golf course. So we came up with this plan and we sent it to the township, and we met with Dave Kratzer and Jim Majewski, and Monica Turney was there too.
Right.
Yeah, and went over the plan, and they were pretty much on board, except they weren't sure about the Macclesfield trees because there's still this thought that they might redo the whole park. There was a master plan that came out a couple years ago. My feeling is it probably won't happen because it looked pretty expensive, but they want to make sure that these tree plantings won't infringe on that master plan where they're going to reroute some of the roads and all that. So we gave it to them. They're supposed to get back to us in the next week or
Yep.
2. Right. And then Jim Majewski said after they go through that and make sure those trees are okay, they would go to the board in February and have them vote to go out for bids for all these tree plantings. And then the hope is that in March, they could vote to accept one of the bids, and then we could just start planting right there, you know, late March, April, get the trees in.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Alan. Also, in anticipation of the fact that when they look at the Macclesfield plan, they might delete some trees or several trees, maybe, let's say 10, 20, 30. We actually prepared an alternate plan that lists various trees in other areas as well as Macclesfield. So if they eliminate some trees, the thought is that we can put some back in. Our aim is always to have at least 150 trees involved in each planting, and we have 2 plantings a year, spring and fall. So, all right, thanks, Alan. Any other comments? All right, well, let's move on to recycling, and we have some very, very good news with our recycling. Alan, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, Saturday's event was the best ever. As far as styrofoam, I guess we tied our 120 bag
Record, yeah.
record. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I filled up a 15-foot U-Haul truck twice with the styrofoam and took it to Ray Bob's in Bristol. And we estimated close to 500 pounds of batteries. There were corks estimated. What do you think? Maybe fill up 8 different boxes, wine boxes you get at the liquor store. Lot of corks. I've never seen so many corks. And then the prescription bottles, it seemed like you got a lot.
Well, this time it was probably the maximum. I haven't counted yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were about 1,000, but I can.
Yeah.
Give me a week or 2, I will count them.
Okay.
Wow, wow.
Okay, so yeah, very successful. So we usually have a big collection after Christmas, and this sure was a big one. So the next one will probably be late April, maybe early May, but somewhere in that time frame.
Right.
So start saving your styrofoam.
Yeah. And the collection was so successful based upon, my seniority. I always picked a job inside, and inside is where you tie the bags and it's out of the weather and you can sit sometimes. Well, it didn't work Saturday. Okay. I mean, it was just constant. As a matter of fact, I had to have some help from the outside. So the best laid plans sometimes go astray. Anyway, but I'd like to actually thank all the people who are involved as volunteers and all the people in Lower Makefield who, take the time to bring this stuff to us, because otherwise it's going to end up in a landfill. And according to what people say when they drop this off, this is one of the most successful programs they tell us that the township actually runs. So again, a little handshake for all the volunteers, okay? Did I say handshake? Well, a little hand clap. All right. All right, the next item on the agenda is Birdtown, PA. Jeanne, you want to talk to us about what's in the future and what we've just done?
Sure. What's in the future is the important thing right now. We are trying to come up with the best date that we can call Lower Makefield Township, the Lower Makefield Birdtown, PA. We have to have a day to honor the birds every year. And we're having a little bit of trouble finding the right date, but we will. And then when we do, we're going to celebrate big. It'll be a big celebration for the birds.
All right, we're actually going to request from the township as well a resolution stating that this specific day is Birdtown, PA Day. And we're in the midst of planning now 3 separate events for that day. And we're working with Parks and Rec Director Monica Tierney. But again, a little loosey-goosey right now, but we're thinking of a child's program, maybe a bird tour, and then definitely a falconry exhibition at Memorial Park early afternoon. So anything else, Jeanne? you
Nope.
want to discuss?
Nope.
Or any other comments?
Well, I don't know how relevant this is, but I heard a fact about birds being killed by vehicle collisions. I was shocked the number. In the United States, it's U.S. Fish and Wildlife estimates it's something between, I don't know, it was 80 million and 300 million. It was just amazing. So no, and now I was thinking we shouldn't plant any trees that the birds like to eat the berries from or whatever near street.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
that might.
But yeah, I tell you, birds have a tough time.
They also can't see glass.
Yeah.
So that's another big one.
Sure, yeah.
So that actually could be a nice initiative is with the township is changing some of the building, I think they have sort of a sticker now that you can put over some of the glass. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a good future lecture too.
Mhm.
The bird collisions and buildings, cars, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And, what can be done about it. I know like years ago, because of the deer incidents on the road, they were trying to come up with all these devices that high-pitched whistles and things like that, so the deer would know and maybe take off. So maybe there's things like that we can look at in
Yeah.
the future, or maybe they're out there. Who knows?
They do things like underground sort of land, like underneath the road crossings for animals. I've seen that. Not necessarily for birds, obviously, but for 4-legged animals. So something to think about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? If not, we'll go on to the next item. Land use reviews, Alan?
Yeah, the township got 2 fairly minor development plans in this last month. The first one was related to a big development in Middletown. It's Shady Brook Farm. A big portion of Shady Brook Farm is in Middletown Township. And Middletown approved the building of 134 attached residential units and 24 detached on their property in Middletown, which borders right up to Lower Makefield. And they needed a driveway to access this. I hope it's not the only one, an access driveway. And it's going to go through Lower Makefield property and hit, what is that, Stony Hill Road? That goes right in front of Wegmans and all that. So it's essentially just a driveway, so it's a stormwater thing, and it's not much stormwater, but just wait, we'll get our chance. 54 acres of Shady Brook Farm is in Lower Makefield, and a lot of that's going to get developed in the next few years, so get ready. It's coming. Yeah, I know. Well, this is
Just rolling with good news
Yeah,
tonight,
yeah.
aren't we?
yeah.
Uh,
And the other one was Supfin Road. It's where Makefield intersects Supfin Road. There was a house there. There was 2 acres, and they sectioned off part of it to build 2 other houses, and now they want to build a 3rd house. So there'll be 4 houses on that 2 acres. And there's not much there, though. I did notice, I don't think they accounted for all the trees coming down, so I'll probably make a comment on that, look at the trees. One of them's a big one that'll require 10 replacement trees. So we'll make sure they're planting enough new trees to make up for the trees they're taking down. Yeah.
okay, any comments? All right, Alan,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
I'll let you know about Shady Brook.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the proposed single-use plastics ban update. Our liaison is the new chair of the Board of Supervisors, Matt Ross, and unfortunately, Matt
Empty
has
chair.
has not been able to attend tonight. But Sumya and Eleanor, you're the 2 who have been working on that, correct?
Single-use plastic ban?
Yes.
No.
That would be Dominique and I.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, Dominique. Yeah. So, do you ladies want to report what's been going on?
Sure. You want to give a quick update, Dominique?
No, you go.
Okay. Okay. Well, we did have a meeting about it after the last EAC meeting, and Dominique and I decided that because our main barrier is going to be the board, that we need to present sort of proof that the township residents want this. So we're kind of and we really need to look at the impact on the businesses and sort of quantify that impact so that we can then really make the case to the board about why this should proceed. So Dominique and I have sectioned off parts of the township and the businesses that we're going to sort of observe, who it uses single-use plastic bags, what's the impact to the business, and then we also did put out on the informal post the single-use plastics ban. That was not a priority for township residents, at least the ones that we polled. So that was just an interesting piece of information that we're sort of taking into account as we, come up with a strategic presentation for the board. Do you want to speak to some of the articles that you've been sending, Dominique? You've been sending some really great.
Right. There was the latest one from the Guardian, the BBC, the Guardian, saying that it was a failure in Europe because it wasn't imposed. There was no control on the use of single-use plastic bags. So the shops and the people kept on using the plastic bags because they were not being penalized, or there was no, partly. I mean, it was one of the reasons. So that was rather negative and depressing, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't go ahead and
I do think that was one of the comments from a couple of the people in the audience at our presentation, was that, it was hard to enforce. And frankly, my takeaway from, I know I wasn't there in person, but I did watch it, and was that, it was a lot of hands-on by the team there to go to each individual business and and meet with them and train them and offer guidance. And I don't know that, and I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly here. I just think about like the practicality of being able to put this in place. And if we do it, do we have the bandwidth to provide the level of support that they were doing in Newtown? I'm not saying that we shouldn't go for guidance and encourage businesses to go get away from the plastics. I think there are ways to start educating the township, educating the businesses, have discussions and say, can you be proactive and do this? You know, and I know, Jim, that was one of your concerns, like, hey, it's hard when it's not in a regulation, it's not a requirement. I get that. I very much do. But I also think, like, do we have the bandwidth? I know the township does not, to enforce it. And I don't want to go down a path of doing a program that's not enforceable and we can't really demonstrate the savings of what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, like the legwork, I mean, I think it would be an all hands on deck situation for the EAC. Because Dominique, it's not something that Dominique and I can handle alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to a couple of shops already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I make a list of people using plastic bags, and that's the only question I've asked: do you use plastic bags?
Yeah.
And I think
don't think that
continuing the education is super important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like
reaching
maybe
out to the businesses and really encouraging those who want to be standouts. And maybe there's ways that we can kind of call out businesses that are getting away from it and say, hey, you're an A++ in our book. Here, use this. These are the organizations that are getting away from single-use plastics. Let's support them as much as we can.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to have some information. You mentioned a poll. I wanted to take a step back
sure.
as to my comments are based on the comments made by the audience during that presentation.
Sure.
So I'm not sure it's only the board that's against it, but people came up with
No.
other
Yeah.
I guess drawbacks or inconveniences and consequences they felt for doing this.
Yeah.
Was,
Unintended consequences. Yep.
I was wondering whether it's worth taking a shot at a informal poll like you did to the general community.
Sure.
To say not about a ban, to say how to reduce plastics. Like the premise being everybody is concerned about plastics. We know the consequences of using plastics indiscriminately.
Mhm.
Here are some of the ideas. One of them being a ban. And get an idea,
Sure.
get some opinion, and of course keep one, like, let them also come up with their own suggestions as
Sure.
to how to reduce plastics, use of plastics in the community.
Sure.
So if we pick one particular thing, then it's like you're bringing up a wall.
Mhm.
But whereas if you open up to let's brainstorm,
I love that.
these are the ideas. Then people might come up with things that we have not thought of.
Great.
And I think part of the messaging we need to say is we're not going to just stop with the single-use plastic bags. This is just the first step in the process. And so when people say, well, this and this has plastic, my takeout food containers are plastic. When I get to the grocery store, packaging is all plastic. And I'm like, well, we can't control what companies make, but we're just looking to take a first step, and hopefully over the years, companies and businesses will start to be in step with us instead of pointing fingers at, well, we can, ban these plastic bags, but we're missing all these other sources of plastic. And that's not what we're doing. It's just we're limited in what we can do, but we're taking steps where we can.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of the issues, though, in Newtown, they tried the voluntary approach, and it didn't work at all.
Yep.
It was a complete failure. So I think one of the steps that we were talking about, and that's why I wish Matt would have been here tonight, but I was going to talk to some of the new members of the Board of Supervisors, and with the possibility of maybe having a presentation to the BOS. With maybe somebody like Farron Severitz from Penn Environment. And with the idea, we're not throwing anything down anybody's throat. This is a Q&A discussion. We want to know what you think about it.
Yeah.
And if you have objections, what are they? And for the most part, I know in the last discussion we had here with Farron, he was very adept at answering any objections, okay? We also, something else we might want to tap in on is Wegmans is using plastic bags. So maybe we ought to have, maybe at one of our meetings,
Are they?
No,
They're not.
not
I
using.
thought they were supposed to be using plastic bags.
No, they're not.
No,
They're not.
no, they're not.
They're using the reusable plastic
Reusable
bags.
Oh, the reusable.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
use the single use.
Using, not, now the only, it's the only supermarket
Yeah.
not using single-use plastic bag.
All right, maybe I need a little education on the reusable bags. How many times can they be reused? Is that?
Over and over and over.
Well, it depends on the quality of the plastic, because if you get the super cheap ones, then they're likely to tear. So I think a future lecture on what are some good alternatives to single-use plastics would be helpful.
That's a part of the, if we have an ordinance, that's part of the ordinance to specify what type of bag is acceptable and what's, because there's, I mean, it's very, if you look at the Newtown ordinance, it's very specific. I mean.
Yeah, and it's specific based on their history, because
What works
they
and not.
tried it with one and then people were throwing them away because they're so flimsy. So now there's some, strict, definitions of what's acceptable and not acceptable. But if it's okay, I will try and get in contact with our
Yeah.
two new members and then see if it's possible to have a presentation to the board, because then everybody in the township can be privy to that. So,
Yep.
And so the other addition, which is a bit sideways, but with our meeting with Kelly yesterday, that is, we can have access to the whole, to all the residents and have a surveys for all of them, with Zen City, with Zen City.
About that bi-weekly newsletter?
No, she mentioned Zen City and also Dave Kratzer said.
Great.
So we can ask questions and they need to be supervised by the,
Sure.
but that's great.
Maybe we could tie that in. I mean, we can sort of talk about how we want to approach that, but we could probably tie that in with like the more strategic planning.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, but
Great.
the Board of Supervisors is
yeah, and that's, sure. Anita, you'll have to come up and use the microphone. I'm sorry.
It's so that it can be heard on the recording.
So many people are gonna listen to that recording.
I know enough about the plastic bags and stuff. I mean, I know it's an issue and stuff, but the supermarket, I mean, ShopRite's got a recycling bin that you can just bring in your plastic.
That
bag.
it doesn't work. They don't recycle them.
Oh,
they are not.
Yeah, the supply chain is, I mean, you can speak to the Cheryl because you're a waste stream person, but
oh.
they don't recycle them.
And they are not, the single-use plastic bags are not recyclable.
Yeah.
They just stay around.
It just makes you feel good.
You just can't recycle them.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. It's called wish cycling.
Well, that's awful then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Well, thank you anyway.
Yeah.
Does that make you want to change?
Right, good question.
does it make me want to change things? Well, sure it does. I didn't realize that it was going on.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people don't. I mean, that's the barrier for
That's
us.
part of the education.
Yeah.
We need to do. Yeah.
Would you support a plastic bag ban? Okay.
They have the cloth one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Thanks,
Right.
Anita.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Anita.
All right, do we have any other comments on single use? Yes, Jasper?
Uh-huh.
I'm very against like the single-use plastics, and I stay away from like them, especially like in food stuff. And I think maybe something that might be worthwhile to, if you're gonna have a presentation about it, is to talk about the health effects of it, like the BPA's and the endocrine disrupting chemicals, because that's something I personally am very much like okay, not only is this messing with our environment, people have heard that narrative, many times over, but you're like, okay, there's a spoon-sized amount of microplastics in your brain. These are affecting, a lot more health issues and inflammation and chronic inflammation and not just, our environment. So
Right. That gets people's attention.
yeah, certainly got my attention.
Yeah, maybe have more of a lecture focused on plastics in the home and what you can do personally about it.
Mm.
And, because I've overhauled my home where, we use reusable cloth bags. I use glass containers only. I'm just trying to get rid of as many sources of plastic in my own home.
Yeah.
Jasper, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Yeah,
Bless
well,
it.
actually, a very good point, Jasper, because the latest statistic I heard is that people are ingesting the equivalent of a credit card worth of plastic a week.
Yeah.
Now, the health benefits, I mean, firstly, it can't be good for you, okay?
I'm not sure if there are any benefits.
Otherwise, you
There's
can
no
buy it at the
benefit.
supermarket to eat, okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, it reminds me of almost like the PFAs. Now that there's very, very stringent regulations on them. 20 years ago, they were being used discriminately all over the place. So again, I think this is a good idea you brought up. I think the health, impact is very, very important.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jasper.
I think we should single out the single-use plastic bags to start with.
Right.
And forget about the other plastics because then that's
Well, yeah, I tend to agree with that because I think you have to take this a step at a time.
yeah.
I think if we came through with a total ban on everything, it just wouldn't go anywhere.
No.
Period. I mean, it would just overwhelm people, I think. So, okay, next item on the agenda, the Environmental Stewardship Award update. Well, I talked to firstly Katie to schedule the award ceremony, and it looks like the second February BOS meeting or the first meeting for the BOS in March, but it's not definite yet. I also talked to the refillery people, and since they are a for-profit venture, they will not receive the $1,000 stipend, but they have a choice of 4 local environmental agencies to whom that money would be awarded. And they're going to let me know about that in a couple of days. Also, I'm having a plaque made for the ceremony by Awards and More. They're a business up in Washington Crossing that we've used for many, many years. They're reliable and they really do a nice job. So that's where that stands right now. Any questions or comments? Okay. All right. The EAC lecture series for 2026. The next one scheduled is Naughty by Nature on Valentine's Day, 2026. And as we've done in the past, along with the lecture, we've also awarded a large box of candies to the person whose birthday is closest to February 14th. Now, we have amongst us today a past winner, okay? His name is Jim Driscoll, and Jim thinks if he comes again this year, he can win it again. So we had to tell him that, sorry, Jim, it's not going to work this year, all right? But we hope you come anyway, okay? Anyway, that's all set up. All systems are go. I talked to Mike about 3 or 4 days ago, and I will also be talking to Dave about setting up the equipment needed. So everything's all systems go as far as that's concerned. Now, yes, right here, okay? And you should be receiving hopefully publicity because in our odds and ends, we're going to be talking about a new publicity approach in Lower Makefield Township as well. And then
So
I've got a
it's such a fun,
right,
Sell it.
educational too.
and it's also PG-13. Okay, let me tell you that as well. Okay, all right. But all right, the next 2 lectures are actually going to be given by Eleanor, not given. She's going to be finding us an expert for an artificial intelligence on what date is that?
March.
March 14th.
314.
And then Eleanor herself is going to be giving a lecture on fast fashion on 4/18.
Correct.
So you have some comments for us, Eleanor?
Yeah, so the AI and the grid, so for the audience and for those listening at home, we have an incoming data center to Fairless Hills. It's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes away from our township. And these have huge impacts on our grid and our environment. If you're not aware, there are new proposed cost increases for electricity prices that are being presented right now, especially for this area. So this is going to be a great lecture. I've got 2 people solidified and looking for a third. One from Penn Future. They have some really amazing people who have legal backgrounds, who can sort of present on whatever area of a data center we want. For this lecture in particular, it'll be mostly on grid and electricity usage. And then we have somebody from Community Action Works who actually Farron put me in touch with. And he's really good at teaching communities how to come together around this and what to ask for in terms of approaching the municipalities for sort of preemptive action on AI and data centers. So I think it's going to be an amazing lecture. And I've been discussing with Dominique that we're going to sort of expand the invite, and I'm sure you do this all the time with the surrounding townships. So hopefully we'll get some attendance from those people. My question on this one was, do we want to do it on a Saturday? I understand that in March, like in particular, sort of school sports start to pick up. So I don't know if like Saturdays are the best day for it. I just wanted to sort of present that and have a group discussion around, do we think that that's the best day to do it, or?
Well, past experiences dictated that Saturday morning we get the best attendance.
Okay.
We tried like Friday
Okay, good.
evenings and other evenings.
Okay.
And generally we found out people don't want to come out in the evening.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Saturday, is it ideal all the time? No, but we think it's probably worked the best.
Okay. Okay, great. Great. Then we'll keep it there.
We have experts that, would require a fee. We could certainly take care of that.
Yeah, actually we should chat about that, Jim. I wanted to be able to offer them like a per diem or a reimbursement for travel.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Dominique?
can we have some information and a poster for it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I think I told you
Yes.
some media need a month in advance. So
Yeah.
it'd be-
Yeah. Working on that. Actually, the checklist that Jim sent through has been very helpful. So I'm sort of like ticking off the boxes of this. So yeah, you'll receive more info soon.
All right, good. Yeah, actually, I use that form myself for Naughty by Nature, and it really was helpful.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
because I
Yeah.
kept so I don't have to do this then.
Yeah.
Before, I got everything done, but I was doing stuff 2 times, so when I didn't have to. So
Sure.
good, I'm glad it's working out.
Sure. Yep.
And what about the fast fashion?
Yep. So that one will be next, and I'll present on that. We actually discussed, Cheryl and Soumya, when we met, we discussed potentially having a clothing swap as a part of that lecture, which would be very cool. Are you familiar with what a clothing swap?
Good
Okay.
idea.
So, and I have actually friends from Philly who are menders as well, so they know how to repair clothing. So we could potentially set up some booths and have people bring in things that they need repaired, and they can help do that. So, yeah, we're sort of talking about maybe trying to do that as a part of that lecture. That might be kind of an undertaking, but I'm sort of mapping it all out now. So I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, so I love the idea about that clothing swap.
Oh, good.
It's pretty cool.
Good. Awesome.
I actually saw a video about a city in Europe that had set up an old factory or whatever, and they set up a recycling center where you could bring clothing and different household items.
Furniture.
Right? And
Was
but
it in
they
Sweden?
also had people who repaired things and then instructions or classes on how to repair things.
Yeah. So
that
cool.
was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, excellent. It's, Alan just reminded me it's 7:05. So I guess there's somebody coming after us, but I'm not really sure. What time, Dan? Okay, so we have a couple of minutes more, right? Okay, great. Thank you. All right, Paul's not here to talk about the EAC and Township newsletter, but in odds and ends, we actually have some pretty good news, I think. For a long time, I've been wondering how the township itself could really start sending out some publicity for the various things that we've been doing. Because we have 35,000 people in Lower Makefield Township and roughly about 12,000 houses. So we have a relatively new employee at the township, Kelly Frayne, and she undertook a project to come up with a concept called mini newsletters. So the quarterly newsletter will still be sent on a quarterly basis. The problem with the quarterly newsletter is the timing. If you have an event, you might have to have it 2 months before the newsletter comes out. And a lot of times the timing just doesn't work. So with this concept of mini newsletter, every 2 weeks, and it'll be probably on a Friday before the next Board of Supervisors meeting, every 2 weeks, a mini newsletter is going to be sent out. And that newsletter is going to contain all kinds of different stuff about what's going on in the township. And for instance, our recycling event that was just held on January 10th was kind of a first go round for Kelly. And she sent out on Friday. And as soon as I looked at it, I figured, wow, this is really super professional.
It's
you
an
know,
email,
it's an email.
not a hard copy like.
E-newsletter.
Yes, the newsletter.
E-newsletter.
So, but this for all our lectures, for like the SUPB, the clothes swap, all that kind of stuff.
Great.
And we can put it out. It doesn't have to be one shot, as you know, Dominique. It can
Right.
be, let's say, the day before, a week, 2 weeks, a
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
To saturate it so people really, get it. And I think on an overall basis, over the years, our lectures have been pretty well attended. But I think if we get more information out, I think we're going to get more people come.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm a little biased, but we're doing some very cool stuff here, okay, that the township people should really know about.
And Kelly posted the one for the Naughty by Nature.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
going
right.
to come in the next.
Okay. One last item under odds and ends too is that Bowman's Hill Wildflower Preserve, and I've been a naturalist at that preserve for quite a few years, but they were very well aware of the unique characteristics of our tree bank ordinance in Lower Makefield Township, whereas developers actually pay for new trees to be installed in various areas of the township. So they had requested that a representative, and that ended up being me, come and give a podcast on the whole concept of tree banks. So I don't know when that's going to air or how it's going to work or anything like that, but it was about 50 minutes long. And I kept telling Santino, he's the education coordinator, I think it would be a lot better if it were like 20 minutes long instead of 50 minutes long, because I'm not sure I want to listen to myself for 50 minutes, but I could probably tolerate myself for 20 minutes, okay? So this was the first go round. So it's kind of a trial run. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But I think it was a nice pat on the back to ask the township, to be the first, give the first podcast because of, our unique tree bank ordinance. So when I find out about it, I'll let everybody know. Any other odds and ends, anything anybody wants to bring up?
Done. Let everybody know.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So when are we meeting in March and April and May? Did
All
it
right, well,
officially change or?
That's a good question. I have to talk to Katie. She's trying to accommodate us. Firstly, I think when the meetings change, it'll be on Tuesday evening, and everybody seemed to indicate that Tuesday was really kind of an ideal, evening. The problem is the time. I guess, I don't know, like maybe like most people, we tend to eat at 6 o'clock. So we're ending up, shoving some food down at 5 You know, so if we could get like a 7 o'clock start or something like that on a Tuesday, I think that would really be ideal. So, what do other people think about those times?
Yeah, I think we all chimed in that that was good.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, let me talk to Katie and then, you know, see what can happen. Anything else? Okay, well then I will officially end the meeting at 11 minutes after 7. Thank everybody for attending and enjoy the rest of your evening. And it says end meeting for all.
Dude, should I bring my notes?